Good morning. It's Tom Padula from TomPadulaTV on YouTube and Insegna Booksellers. And today is a very important day here in Melbourne. It's Melbourne Cup Day. And there'll be a race around 3 o'clock. And we're going to enjoy looking at who wins. Another year has gone by, and this time, of course, the horses will have more company. There'll be around 80,000 people apparently. There at where they're racing. Unbelievable. But what is the date today? Today is the Tuesday, the 1st of November 2022. And generally Cup Day, Melbourne Cup Day, is held in the first Tuesday of November. But this time it's the 1st of November, right at the beginning. And I'm going to do Italian lesson number 52. And you notice the cappello here? It's come back last week. I forgot it. I forgot to put it on. I put on another one. So I destroyed my, I've been very good up to that time. But we're back again with the top hat. Because la storia della letteratura italiana and, of course, of the Italian language begins with Rome. And, as a result of that, I've been able to also get back to reading a little bit of Latin and looking at the language with a bit more experience, that I have now over the years. Very different from when I was studying it there in Moliterno. But, that's how it is. Time goes by. Because of time, I've just found Edoardo De Filippo wrote a poem, a poem, and this one here, it's about time. There's no title to it, but here we go. Te pare lungo un anno e passa in bressa, quando è passato se ne va lontano. Ne passa nata e quando se ne aiuta corre purissimo insieme a chi le prima, insieme a nati 5, 20, 30, se ne vanno per l'aria in coppe e nuvole. E là tu senti come un frastuone che è sempre lo stesso, a quando o munno e munno, in coppa sta terra, come se fosse a banda do paese, che scassea a mezzo vico e s'allontana. Trasi in te orecchie quando sta passando e non la senti più quando è passata. Ma la cosa te resta, sa che te rimane un ricordo e un motivo, come fosse una musica sperduta e un suono scordato, che ti è paruto vive, chiaro e chiudo cristallo dentro il suono, e non lo può contare quanto ti scite, manca te stesso, tanto è fatto e niente, in coppa sta terra. That's a beautiful poem, honestly. Edoardo De Filippo, Totò, Peppino, unbelievable. How many people that have become icons of Italy were born in Naples, quite a lot. And we've got the local language, the Neapolitan language, still alive and well, I'm sure. We see it in songs and lyrics. But we go back to our history of Italian literature. Today we're going to do Il dolce stil nuovo, which is a title given to a type of poetry that was written at the beginning of the 13th, 14th century, around the time just before Dante, Il dolce stil nuovo. And, Dante mentions it as well. So we're getting into now the local language, the vulgus language, becoming also the main language of the people. However, not officially as yet. It has to wait a long, long time before the law and the church, those people there who were leading those, the masses, they used Latin because it was a precise language, a well-developed language. The Italian language was not as well developed, and it kept on changing, a bit like if you think about the various local languages, what we call, what people call dialects. They are local languages, but they don't. You haven't instilled them with a precise grammar, which can change over time. But that's what makes a language a language, when it has rules. And the same with civilization. We say that if the more rules you have, the more constrained are the people, but your civilization becomes very precise. Like with the Roman times, they had very strict laws, and they had an army to back them up, and a bureaucracy to collect the taxes and then use all that money for various projects, but also to maintain themselves, to maintain the army, to maintain what is needed to retain power. Just ask any of the dictators, even in today's world. How can anyone justify killing so many people, even though they belong to another nation? But how can you justify that? And then you have to fight back, so there's more killing on the other side. Just unbelievable. But Il Dolce Still Novo developed as a result of the Crusades, because when the Crusades went to the Middle East, in the Arabic world, the Islamic world, they had softened their stance in terms of treatment of each other, but they were quite cruel as well if you didn't follow the strict rules that they had. So you had to believe in their God and submit. So submission was the name of the game all around. Now this is 11:31, I better start. Ok? Il dolce Still Novo. Nell'ascendere la montagna del Purgatorio, Dante si imbatte in quel Bongiunta da Lucca, da noi menzionato nel precedente paragrafo, Purgatorio 24. Now, I haven't got to this stage yet. Welcome to Anna Maria Cassino. I haven't got to this stage yet of Purgatorio. I'm up to Purgatorio lesson canto number 15. So this is, we're talking about here Il Dolce Still Novo, where Dante mentions Bongiunta da Lucca, il quale gli chiede: ma di se io veggio qui colui che fuori trasse le nuove rime? E lui risponde, and he replies, io mi son un che quando amor mi ispira noto, e a qual modo che ditta dentro vo significando. E quell'altro esclama: oh frate Issa, vegg'io, il nodo che il notaro e guittone e me ritenne di qua dal dolce Still Novo chiodo. And it's mentioned, il dolce Still Novo is mentioned in the Purgatorio number canto 24. I look forward to that. In poche parole troviamo qui enunciato il principio fondamentale della nuova poetica e sottolineato il suo distacco dai provenzaleggianti, from Provençal. We saw that they wrote a particular poetry where they praised women, put them on a pedestal. But, people behaved as people. But the poets, that's what they did. Occorre tuttavia fare qualche avvertenza, watch it. Quando Dante afferma che ascolta quel che amor gli ispira, noi a distanza di secoli non dobbiamo dare a quell'espressione un significato che non aveva e non poteva avere. Altro infatti è l'ispirazione, come l'intendiamo noi, ossia come tumulto di affetti che reclamano, per così dire, un'espressione con cui acquietarsi. Altra è quella che verosimilmente possiamo attribuire, non diciamo a Dante poeta, ma a Dante teorico della poesia, il quale si riferisce ad un amore che non è passione intesa al modo nostro, ma rimane anche per lui quella specie di divinità cui avevamo servito, per quanto inceppati dal nodo i provenzali e i loro imitatori d'Italia. So there is a great difference between our idea of inspiration of love and the inspiration of love as seen by Dante and the Provençal people. So for them, it was more love as a divinity. So you put the woman up there and, you talk about how wonderful she makes you feel. You don't even have to touch her finger. There's no need. But here, when I get inspired about love, I talk. Well, not so much me, maybe. I sort of tend to be a little precious about what I say, but the reality is that some people talk very openly about their feelings. Me too, but not in a physical sense or whatever, precisely like that. But in this case here, there's a definite division between our understanding of amor in the way we see it and in the way it was seen in Il dolce stil nuovo poetry. Ok? Ed è stato giustamente osservato che il ditta dentro richiama le artes dictandi e si tratta quindi sempre di poesia dotta, asperta. So the poetry of the Stil Nuovo is a very well constructed poetry, una poesia intellettuale. Che cosa dunque ci fosse di veramente nuovo nel dolce stile? What is new about this dolce stil? Nuovo, stil nuovo, dolce stile. È questione molto ardua e dibattuta. But he says it's hard and people have different views about it. I see it more as a constructed language, a bit like, picking up from the Roman times, precise language with a grammar, etc. And they saw life and the world as such, with very precise rules, which were, and for some people still are, the answer to what we're talking about. In other words, you do it this way, you don't do it the other way. This is the right way, this is the wrong way. Again, ask a dictator. They know exactly what to say. That's the way it is, the line. If you don't follow, you get punished. And if they then lose, they get punished in the same way. Because when that system is done away with, you get what we call our imperfect democracy, where people are more free. So when you are free, you can express yourself in the way you are. But I've always said to people who said, I write poetry, but non so la grammatica, Tom. And I used to go to someone's house to fix up his poetry, and he paid me as a student, as when I was at uni, and afterwards as a teacher. So these are the sort of thing that needs to be done. So where the jobs of editors have come in. They come in and they review books, and you get a whole team of people. Whereas when I actually publish myself, I just do it, I put it in, and that's it. That's it. So there are mistakes sometimes. What can you do? That's the name of the game. If you do it on your own, you're bound to make more mistakes than if you are under a system where everything is checked and there's no expense. Expenses is not an issue. Ora, che cosa dunque ci fosse di veramente nuovo nel dolce stil nuovo? È questione molto ardua e dibattuta. Sembra comunque più proficuo insistere sul dolce, cioè sulla soavità e gentilezza di sentimenti, di immagini, di linguaggio, anziché sulla portata concettuale e dottrinale della riforma. So rather than the concetto, the concept or the doctrina, was theology, not so. Ciò premesso, cominciamo dal fondatore della nuova scuola, Guido Guinizelli. Guido Guinizelli, that's the name, before Dante. Che Dante in Purgatorio, canto 26, chiama il Padre mio e degli altri miei migliori, che mai rime d'amore usar dolci e leggiadre. It was a softy, Guido Guinizelli. Nato intorno al 1240, insegnò nello studio di Bologna, che era in quei tempi rinomato per tutta l'Europa. Bologna was the first European university at that time. Era rinomata. E colà, and there, colà is another way to say and there. Dopo un breve tirocinio guittoniano, elaborò la teoria del cor gentile. So you started writing poetry, and then he said, this is the way to do it. La donna è un angelo venuto dal cielo, number one, per svegliare amore nei cuori gentili, in soft hearts. That's for me too. recando in atto le virtù potenziali, bringing the virtues that you need to live in peace with others, with love in your heart. Di essi, la virtù di essi, ed è scala al fattore, and she is the scala, the steps towards il fattore, in other words God, towards the high heaven. Poiché per suo mezzo, because per suo mezzo, through this dolce still nuovo poetry, gli innamorati, the lovers, people who follow this sort of dottrina, si elevano platonicamente alla contemplazione di Dio. They raise themselves, contemplate the greatness of God. That's what that dolce still nuovo was aimed to do. And people like St. Francis of Assisi, Santa Chiara, they were looking at, the ascetics in the religious sense. That's what they did. Ma la sua natura angelica non le consente di rimanere a lungo sulla terra. But her angelic ways, it doesn't allow them to live a normal life on earth. Platonic love means when you love somebody from afar, you don't even have to talk to them. I love that, That's what we do with the singers now, the actresses, actors. People love them from afar. But if they ever meet them, they discover then who they really are. Well, that's it. La sua natura angelica non le consente di rimanere a lungo sulla terra, dalla quale adempiuta la sua missione, rivola alla sua vera sede. So in other words, once that is achieved, really there's nothing else left but to go to heaven. In other words, to die. Il Guinizelli espone compiutamente questa dottrina nella canzone Al cor gentil repara sempre amore. Repara, si rifugia sempre amore. Al cor gentil ripara sempre amore. Amore rivela il cuore gentile e si identifica con questo. La gentilezza non proviene da nobiltà di schiatta. Doesn't come from being a noble person, come era nel concetto feudale. Like in the feudal system, you could only be a noble person if you were in part of the ruling class. Ma da innata virtù, la virtù, that Machiavelli then works on this, and he says virtù è fortuna. Fortuna is what God provides or what nature gives, but you have to have your virtù, you got to be there, and you got to work accordingly. Come si era venuto affermando attraverso la civiltà dei comuni. Now, we haven't touched on the comuni, but basically the comuni during the feudal system, when the feudi, they sort of declined, if you like. Some of the cities became comuni. They were ruled by their own people, and all the economy was, they built cities, and they had a good governance in small areas. Ma come si era venuto affermato attraverso la civiltà dei comuni. Così teorizzava il Guinizelli. He was a theoretician. Il saggio, the wise one. Come lo chiamavano? They called him il saggio. Come Aristotele, somebody like that. E nelle sue rime c'è più dottrina filosofica che arte. And in his rhymes, there's more philosophical doctrine than art in itself. The feeling, the strong feeling. He says, this is how you do it. Più entusiasmo da scienziato, che da poeta. So he was enthusiastic like a scientist, and not like a true poet. A poet is from the heart, and you express yourself through it. Intorno al nucleo della teoria guinizelliana dell'amore, attecchì ben presto una copiosa variazione di concetti e simboli teologico-filosofici e continuarono le tensioni all'uso provenzale, ossia lo scambio fra i poeti di dotte rime su qualche difficile o nuova questione d'amore. In other words, what happens once the doctrine has been expressed about this type of dolce stil novo doctrine. Then you got the provinciality. Then you got the people who write from the ordinary people who write the way they sort of speak and the way they feel. And you got a bit of a mix here. That's what they're talking about here. I moti dell'animo furono personificati negli spiriti o spiritelli, abbozzando una specie di elementare psicologia. Si cade cioè in un nuovo convenzionalismo. So they fell as a result of that in a new conventional way of writing poetry and writing in general. And I'm going to stop there because next week we'll continue with Il Dolce Stil Novo. We've got quite a bit here. Then after this we'll go to I Poeti Realistici. But, stay with me. I might just go up to the beginning of Dante. I'll finish off, because what I want to do is finish off, say, at lesson 60 for the Italian lessons, and leave it there for a while, give it a bit of a break, and then I'll start again from Dante to modern times a bit later on. So that's my intention. I want to do other things as well, and I want to put all of these lessons of mine on YouTube as well as in Insegna.com, and they will be made available, and I'll be able to speak about the actual podcasts, in real life as well, with groups of people, if there's an interest. Okay, so that's this one here. Well, I'm very happy with that, actually, today. Very happy. Okay. Now, as a result of that, cheers to Melbourne Cup Day. I should have champagne, but you know how it is. When you drive or you do poetry, you can't drink water. It's the best champagne. I did a poem for you. What I want to do now is speak, parla, speak, and we'll continue from last week. This was Come Stai, how are you? Okay? Again, that's the book. Come and see me. Get yourself organized so that you too can learn to speak and read and write and listen to Italian with much greater knowledge. Okay? So come to me and I'll be able to help. I'm sure of it. Adults can learn a language faster than children. All you have to do, transfer one to the other. Just got to have that enthusiasm and interest. So if you think you don't speak Italian, don't worry about it. You can do it very quickly. And then as a result of that, you can give yourself a trip to Italy. Because now the airwaves have opened up again. Ok, let's go. Le dita sono gonfie. C'è un gonfiore anche qui. Senti prurito? Non graffiare. Soffri il solletico? Sì, soffro tanto il solletico. Non farmi il solletico. Okay, so that's, I have to show you this because there are concepts here that are not usual. Le dita sono gonfie. Here we go. Le dita sono gonfie. Le dita, notice, le dita is an irregular plural. Il dito, le dita. The fingers are swollen. C'è un gonfiore anche qui. There is a swelling here too. Senti prurito. Senti prurito. Are you itchy? Non graffiare. Don't scratch. Soffri il solletico. Are you ticklish? Sì, soffro tanto il solletico. Yes, I'm very ticklish. Non farmi il solletico. Don't tickle me. Beautiful. And notice my translation is perfect. Why? Because I had them next door. And if I say to you, how do you say the fingers are swollen? Le dita sono gonfie. You then go back and you check it out. There you are. Bang, bang. And I've noticed too that now in Channel 31, they're expecting everyone of the groups, language groups, to put to put subtitles. So, you know, the idea of going from one language to another through English or whatever, but you can do it in reverse too. English can be in China, they could speak English through Chinese. And so it's a two-way process, this business of bilingualism. It's very useful for everyone, and even for the smaller languages, and especially for our indigenous languages. Ok, let's go on. Hai avuto la varicella, ho avuto il morbillo e gli orecchioni? Accidenti, le hai avute tutte. Have you had the chicken pox? La varicella. I had the measles. Ho avuto il morbillo and the mumps e gli orecchioni. Accidenti, le hai avute. Gosh, you've had them all. But at this time here, we never had COVID-19. Now we have it, but we never really hear varicella, morbillo, orecchioni. These are things of my past, unless I haven't, you know, come across these, because I haven't come across them. So the next lot. Spesso sono, these are the adjectives relating to what we said, come stai. Spesso, often, I am stanco, preoccupato, arrabbiato, irrequieto, agitato, turbato, infastidito, annoiato, nervoso, assonnato, deluso o dispiaciuto, sfinito, stordito, imbronciato, patito, sciupato. So some of those you should know: tired, worried, angry, restless, agitated, upset, annoyed, bored, annoyed, nervous, sleepy, disappointed, exhausted, dazed, sulky and run down. Imbronciato is sulky. Okay, I'm not going to, I'll show you the page afterwards. I'll just keep going. Or maybe should I show it to you now? I probably will. Okay? There you are. That's it there. Yep. Okay, enough. Back. The next lot is: un bambino è svenuto. Qualcuno ha vomitato. Che brutta tosse. Tossisce sempre. È in congedo per malattia. Scriviamole una cartolina. Auguri di buona guarigione. Guarisci presto. Come la salute di mamma? È in buona cattiva salute? Ha una salute di ferro. Che brutta malattia. Vai subito dal dottore. Prendi lo sciroppo. No, mi piacciono le punture. Hai un dente guasto? Ti fa una otturazione. Forse me lo toglie. And that's the you know, it's a very good little section in the book. A lot of new things here, a lot of new things. For example, let's have a look. We'll do the English ones. Okay, there we are. A boy has fainted. Someone has vomited. What a nasty cough. She coughs all the time. She's on sick leave. Let's write her a card. Wishes for a quick recovery. Get better soon. So that was there. Followed the next one. How is Mum's health? She is in good health. He is as fit as a fiddle. What an awful disease. Go to the doctors immediately. Take the cough mixture. I don't like needles. You have had a bad tooth. He'll put in a filling. Perhaps he'll take it out. That's what the options are. And when you take it out, then you can have an implant as well. So they haven't gone into this. So that's it there, look. Again, I recommend this book, honestly. Well done. Welcome to Leonardo Santamartino. Good to see you here. Okay, so that was the come stai, how are you? There are a lot of new words in there, a lot of phrases that can be used. And as I said, adults can learn a language faster than kids because all they have to do is transfer one language to another. So for all the Italian, for example, Leonardo is the secretary of Federazione Lucana has come on. For all those older people that think they don't speak English, it's easy. You can just transfer one language into the other. But it requires a bit of enthusiasm. It requires interest, the will to do it. And some people haven't got that. So that's it. So we've done so far Storia della letteratura, il dolce stil nuovo. That now I am going to the two things. One is cheer you, again, and then wait. I'm going to sing you a song. And this one is dedicated, of course, to all mothers, because tomorrow is also All Souls Day, and if we have our mothers up there, we want to remember them. Here we go. Okay, the best way to do this is if you've got your phone, is click in Mum in Google and bring up the lyrics rather than what I'm doing now. Okay, so I'm going to enjoy myself now. Mamma, son tanto felice perché ritorno da te. La mia canzone ti dice che è il più bel sogno per me. Mamma, son tanto felice viver lontano perché, mamma, solo per te la mia canzone vola. Mamma, sarai con me, tu non sarai più sola. Quanto ti voglio bene, queste parole d'amore che ti sospira il mio cuore, forse non s'usano più. Mamma, ma la canzone mia più bella sei tu la vita, e per la vita non ti lascio mai più. Sento la mano tua stanca, cerca i miei riccioli d'or. Sento e la voce ti manca, la ninna nanna dall'or. Oggi la testa tua bianca io voglio stringere al cuor, mamma. Solo per te la mia canzone vola, mamma, sarai con me, tu non sarai più sola. Quanto ti voglio bene, queste parole d'amore che ti sospira il mio cuore, forse non s'usano più. Mamma, ma la canzone mia più bella sei tu la vita, e per la vita non ti lascio mai più. Mamma, mai più. Opla, come on. So that's it. We go back to me. Right. Okay. Now that doesn't mean, when you got the music, you got a choir, you can really enjoy the lyrics of these wonderful Italian songs developed over a 50-year period. The ones in the 21st century, I'm not so sure. We need a bit more time. But the songs, Italian songs from after the war, from Domenico Modugno, but after the war, from the Sanremo Song Festival in the early 50s, to now, to that 50-year period has seen Italian music and song really flourish and become part of Italian culture, because they use all these lyrics now in songs, in films. There's a whole plethora of things. Okay, now we've done that one there, and what's next? Now, this is now from Parliamo Italiano. I did Giuseppe Mazzini last week, okay? From Giuseppe Mazzini. Now, I've got to say this. There is in the south of Italy, they felt that the south has missed out from the Risorgimento, from the unification of Italy, because the northerners, the northern kings, they sort of were closer to France than, say, to Sicily. So therefore, they looked at their conquests, if you like, as conquests, rather than a unification of the whole nation and looking after the whole territory. So new governments have understood this, and now the politics in Italy, I think, have changed dramatically in the last 10, 15 years. The people have realized that, the times of Bosi, Pianura Padana, all that sort of, disunity type of politics is gone. Now they're looking after the whole territory, and I hope it becomes more and more that way. And also the people that have been affected by the unification of Italy through emigration. So un abbraccio a tutti gli italiani nel mondo is necessary, even from Italian Parliament, and we have representatives there that have been elected to be in the government over there. Whether they do a good job or not, I don't know, because somebody said, well, before we all worried about the people overseas, but now you've got your own representatives, so you depend on those few people to get a few things done in the Italian Parliament. Well, the thing is, io sono australiano, I'm Australian citizen. I don't have an Italian citizenship anymore, unless I go to Italy and stay there for a year, but all my things are here. But the great love that one feels, the rules don't matter. Politics is all about rules and power and how you exercise power for yourself or for the benefit of others or for both. I think the latter one is the one that applies to a lot of politicians. It really does. Anyway, Giuseppe Garibaldi. Let's talk about this great guy, Giuseppe Garibaldi. He was l'eroe dei due mondi. They used to call him the hero of the two worlds, because he also had a lot of effect in South America. He went over there and fought his battles for nationalism as well over there. But this is Giuseppe Garibaldi. Who was he? Per raggiungere l'unità d'Italia, gli italiani dovettero combattere 3 guerre. Esse furono chiamate guerre d'indipendenza. Ok? Molti furono gli uomini coraggiosi che presero parte alle lotte per la libertà. Tra questi c'era una straordinaria figura di condottiero, Giuseppe Garibaldi. Il condottiere goes back to the Middle Ages, in the comuni they had I condottieri as well, really powerful army people, generals. Egli era stato uno dei primi seguaci di Mazzini. So he had been, he had followed Mazzini, the guy who wanted an Italian republic from the beginning, e condannato a morte per le sue idee, and as a result of that, he had been condemned to death for his ideas. They used to get rid of people quickly before. If they didn't agree with you, chop the head off. Era fuggito nell'America del Sud a combattere per la libertà di quei popoli. So he went to South America after he had been condemned to death in Italy. Nel corso della prima guerra di indipendenza era tornato in Italia per difendere Roma. So he came back. La spedizione dei 1000. Dopo la seconda guerra di indipendenza, l'Italia era divisa in 3 parti. A nord il regno di Sardegna, dei Savoia, al centro lo Stato Pontificio del Papa e a sud il regno delle 2 Sicilie dei Borboni. Now the Borboni in this book cop a lot of shit. In other words, they really made it to look bad, but apparently they were the ones who did a lot in the south, more than after the unification for 100 years. It's unbelievable the way. They've been speaking bad about the Borboni. I think they need to be revitalized in the south as well. If you go to the Reggia di Caserta, you can appreciate what they were doing over there. Il regno delle 2 Sicilie era mal governato. He said, I don't necessarily agree with that, but the history books, how they twist and turns. This is obviously one of the books that was given free of charge by the Italian government to the children at primary school. And these are my books from then. Nell'aprile del 1860 i seguaci di Mazzini fecero insorgere i patrioti siciliani. Gli insorti chiesero aiuto al Piemonte e tutti gli altri patrioti. So they asked for help. Tutti gli altri patrioti italiani, so they asked for, in the name of Mazzini, nella Repubblica. Garibaldi, aiutato segretamente dal re Vittorio Emanuele, secondo di Savoia, Garibaldi didn't have any money, so he went to the king, he said, give me a hand here. And so secretly he went there and got the money to go to Sicily. A bit like Christopher Columbus went to America and he went to the Queen and King of Spain, especially the Queen of Spain, give me some money to get the ships, etc. Same sort of idea. So he did it secretly because he was an avowed Republican, Garibaldi, who had been, people knew his history. He had been accused of being a Republican and had been condemned to death. Then he came back. Raccolse poco più di 1000 volontari. He was able to get just over a little more than 1,000 volunteers e partì da Quarto and left from Quarto in Liguria con 2 piroscafi, small, well, a bit bigger. Sbarcò a Marsala e a lui si unirono i patrioti siciliani. So he went to Marsala in Sicily and a few of the Sicilian people welcomed him, the ones who agreed. Le camicie rosse, the red shirts, guidate da Garibaldi, affrontarono l'esercito nemico di 4.000 uomini presso Calatafimi e vinsero. So they built him up. He fought 4,000 of, I guess, 1,000. Without the help of the people themselves, he wouldn't have succeeded. Or a lot of the people in that 4,000 probably, they thought, we're going to unify Italy, might as well do it. Who knows? Sempre combattendo vittoriosamente i garibaldini, liberarono non solo la Sicilia ma tutta l'Italia meridionale. They took over from the Borbone. Don't forget that Spain was not a strong imperial power by then. Intanto Vittorio Emanuele II era sceso, come vuoi dire, sulla cartina con il suo esercito verso il sud. So Vittorio Emanuele came to get his dues from Garibaldi. I've helped you now, what are you going to do? Garibaldi lo incontrò e lo salutò col titolo di Re d'Italia, King of Italy. So he fought on behalf of Mazzini, but then he actually handed over the rest of the south to the king of Piedmont. And of course, what was coming down, he gathered other people who wanted the unification of Italy in the center against the Pope. So the Pope was also the enemy. And there was a third Guerra d'Indipendenza in 1866, and at that time there, the unification of Italy occurred without the immediate papal, without Rome, and without the ones near in Trieste, that area there. But in 1870, there was an attack on Rome, and then the Vatican, the Pope went into the Vatican in a very small area, and the rest of it, Rome became the capital of Italy. And then in, when was it, World War I, the Italians went into war with the Allies, and they ended up winning Trieste, etc., etc. And then, of course, in 1929, Mussolini made peace with the Pope, fascist. He understood what power wanted. He was a dictator. The Pope was he's a dictator as well, the head of the Catholic Church. He dictates whatever he says, but with the help of all his helpers, of course. And then, of course, Italy went into World War II, lost on behalf, we went with Hitler, and then the Republic of Italy is now 70 years. Not bad. Not bad at all. That's the story. So that's Garibaldi e la guerra. Così Garibaldi scriveva ad un amico: poiché vostro desiderio, inviando la mia zappa, essa vi ricorderà sempre un mio vecchio pensiero. Gli uomini dovrebbero usare quel prezioso metallo che il ferro, non per uccidersi scambievolmente, ma per procurare col lavoro una maggiore prosperità. A good one to finish off, la spedizione dei 1000. Okay, so that's that. That's that. It's 12:09. That's good. We now are going to, reward myself now with a second song called, but it's in Neapolitan. We're talking about the Neapolitan. It's called Storta va, dritta viene. If you look it up again, okay? I'm just going to sing it because I think time is running away. I've got quite a bit to do today. Te pare un mistero che stonga sem ballere, da che sapute che sto rovinato. E beh, mi so cagnata, mi son rassegnata, ma penso solo a me. I curi e nervi miei, questa ricetta, e benedica a chi che l'ha fatta. Storta va, dritta viene, sembra storta non può ghi, spesso male porto bene, può tardare ma da venì. Non mi spostano manche femmine, si minacciano infamità, non mi pigli più l'ombra e collere, quanta felicità, quanta felicità! Sarà sto sole sta città, sarà sto mare che sta qua, sarà che io sape che sarà che tutte guai mi fa scordare. Tu porti scritta in fronte che chiagna e te tormenta, da quando concettina non t'aspetta. Io non adesso retta facesse una vendetta per farla intossicare. Mi metterei a cantare sotto il balcone sto ritornello a suona e mandolina. Storta va, dritta viene, sempre storta, non può ghi, spesso male porto bene, può tardare, ma da venì. Non mi spostano manche femmine, si minacciano infamità, non mi piglio che un'ombra e collera, quanta felicità, quanta felicità. Sarà sto sole sta città, sarà sto mare che sta qua, sarà che io so che sarà, che tutte guai mi fa scordare. Dritta va, dritta viene, storta viene. Now, we've done that one there. We got to the Roman Empire. We got to the Roman Empire. And let's have a look now at what the Roman Empire brings us. Because it's, what page was it? Yes. Okay. The Colosseum. Okay, so we're going to talk about the Colosseum. Because last time we talked about the circus arena, etc. But here is the story of the Colosseum. When the family of Cornelius returned to Rome, the great building of the Colosseum was nearing completion. Until this time, Rome's amphitheatres had usually been temporary wooden structures, and this caused some frightful disasters, as at Fidene, near Rome, in AD 27, after the birth of Christ, when a wooden amphitheatre collapsed, killing or maiming 50,000 people. Wooden structures continued to be built even after the completion of the magnificent architectural monument known to its contemporaries as the Amphitheatrum Flavium, but familiar to us as the Colosseum, so named from the nearby colossal statue of Nero, converted by Vespasian into a statue of the sun god. So the emperors come in and they spend the tax money that way. Begun by Vespasian, the Colosseum, or Colossea, was dedicated in AD 80 by his son Titus, who, to speed up its construction, had used Jewish prisoners taken in the capture of Jerusalem 10 years before. The massive elliptical building rose in 4 tiers and measures overall 620 by 512 feet or 189 meters by 156 meters. With seating space estimated at 45,000, it could be covered over by a massive awning in excess of heat or rain. Well, isn't it incredible? The covers of the MCG, etc. Again, it was in Rome, in the Colosseum. Though Gaius Caligula is said to have taken delight in opening such awnings of earlier wooden amphitheatres in times of extreme it and forbidding anyone to leave. It's just, I'm the one here, who's the emperor. If it rains or, you die of hate, bad luck for you. It took 1,000 sailors of the imperial fleet to raise the awning over the Colosseum. Admission was free and open to men, women and children, slave or free, so long as places were available. So once you get to 45,000 or 50, bang, you're not allowed to go in anymore. Women were confined to the topmost area, and their view must certainly have been restricted. There you are. Because why at the top area? Because some of the guys maybe had other intentions in the Colosseum as well. So, women, second-class citizens, all along. The floor of the Colosseum was of timber, strewn with sand, and had numerous trapdoors. Under the arena and extending beyond it, it was a vast complex of subterranean cells. That's what we do with our big buildings now. We build subterranean in our car parks. And passages, which now lie open and exposed to view. Remains can be seen of lifts and machinery worked by counterweights used to raise at various points in the arena. Caged animals, scenery, and other apparatus needed for wild beasts, hunts. On the occasion of the dedication of the Colosseum, Titus held a festival for 100 days, and during the celebrations staged a very lavish gladiatorial show. For more than 1,900 years, the Colosseum has stood as the most imposing monument in the city of Rome and has been almost synonymous with the city itself. A medieval writer, the Venerable Bede, 673, he was an Englishman. He was from England, Britain, quoted the following pilgrim's proverbs or prophecy linking the fate of the Colosseum with that of Rome and of the world. Quam Dio stat Colisaus stabit et Roma. Quando cadet Colisaus cadet et Roma. Quando cadet Roma cadet et mundus. While stands the Colosseum, Rome shall stand. When falls the Colosseum, Rome shall fall. And when Rome falls, the world will fall. Not bad. Now, we've got quite a bit of time, but I wanted to do... No, that's fine. I think I've got enough time to go on. But I'll give myself a break because in the middle here, I'm going to put my poem. Because I wanted to show you a book here where there is a picture of Dionysus, or what do you call it? This guy here. Bacchus. See that? That's Bacchus. God of wine. Okay? Now, I'm going to go to a modern, a guy who's here in Melbourne, who wrote this following poem, which is called Il vino di Bacco, by Tom Padula, here, in this book here. Il vino di Bacco. C'è una fontana di vino abbondante che scorre allegramente in un bosco che io ho scoperto un giorno per caso per tutti coloro che sono compagnoni. I miei amici ed io ci raduniamo lì sovente, con boccali di terracotta per attingere con avide mani il rosso di vino, e beviamo, pensando soltanto al momento e non a cose che sono immortali, e cantiamo in quel luogo, facendo gloriosa baldoria. Nel giardino della cuccagna la vita è sempre bella e noi ce la godiamo tutta facendo un gran bordello. In vita non sbagliamo se pensiamo alla fortuna, alle donne, alle canzoni e certamente al vino buono. Amici, venite, stringiamoci tutti attorno a questa fontana di Bacco, cantando, ballando e bevendo e mandando i dolori in malora. E se non credete, venite alla Federazione Lucana, dove c'è una fontana di vino abbondante. C'è ballo, c'è tutto, c'è canzoni, donne, uomini, un po' di tutto. E allegria. That was, of course, because we live in Melbourne, it's the wine of Bacchus. We needed to do it in English. This was written by me and translated by the poet himself. There is a fountain of plentiful wine which flows joyously in a wood that I by chance discovered one day for all those who love good company. My friends and I meet there often with tankards of terracotta to draw with avid hands of the divine red, and we drink, thinking only of the moment and not of things which are immortal, and we sing in such a place, merry-making gloriously. In the garden of good fortune, life is always merry, and we enjoy it all, creating a great uproar. In life we do not go wrong if we love the good times, the women, the songs, and certainly the good wine. Friends, come, let's gather together around this fountain of Bacchus, singing, dancing, drinking, and sending our pains to hell. And the fountain of Bacchus can be found sometimes at Federazione Lucana in Brunswick. I thought a little bit of an ad there wouldn't go astray. And thank you very much to Leonardo for wanting to do something for Regione Basilicata. So stick by me, and we might, just do something on the regions here. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so that's that. That's Tom Padula's contribution to today's podcast. And of course, these books are also available. They're always available. That's why I'm a bookseller. I want to make things available. Like people want to make, the dancing, the food available. Everyone is selling something. You've got to do something. That's what we do. Now, after that, of course, it's 12:20. Oh. No, I'll do the rest of it. I'll go back to what I said. Now, these are the martial epigrams in Rome. That, by the way, while stands the Colosseum shall stand, when falls the Colosseum, Rome shall fall, and when Rome falls, the world. Translated by Lord Byron. Lord Byron, great poet. And, I haven't done the English poets, but again, you can only do so much. You've got to choose your line, your journey, which one do you go? But I like to kangaroo about. Okay. Born in Bilbilis, Spain, about AD 40, Martial went to Rome in AD 64, the year of the Great Fire, when Nero was emperor. His name as a keen observer of life in the city and as a composer of biting satirical epigrams, epigrammata, rests on poems he published in great numbers between AD 86 and 98, 12 years, the year in which the Flavian amphitheatre was dedicated. Martial wrote a group of epigrams that he published under the title De Spectaculis, in which he describes many of the memorable combats that took place in the arena that year. Translations of the first three poems in the collection are given below. In the first, Martial tries to assess the importance of the amphitheatre as an architectural monument. In the second, he describes the joy of the Roman people in the building program of Vespasian and Titus that replaced the hated Domus Aurea of Nero, with structures of more use to the people. In the third, he pictures the influx of people from all the Roman world who came to the dedication ceremonies. So let's read them. Do not let barbarian Memphis tell of the wonder of her pyramids, nor Assyrian toil vaunt in Babylon. Let not the soft Ionians be praised for Trivia's temple. Let the altar built of many horns keep in Delos hidden. Let not Carians exalt to the skies with excessive praise the mausoleum poised on empty air. The result of all these labours of men yield to Caesar's amphitheatre, one work in place of all shall fame rehearse. So the Colosseum is above everything else. And I'll show you a little picture of the Colosseum as is seen in this book. There you are. That's the Colosseum at its best. Not like it is now, but they've done a lot of work now. Good. The next one. Here we ride with stars, the Colossus as a close view of heaven, and in the middle of the way tall scaffolds rise hatefully gleamed the palace of savage king, and only a single house then stood in all the city. Here where the far-seen amphitheatre lifts its mass august was nearest like, here where we admire the warm baths a gift swiftly built, a proud domain had robbed the poor of their dwellings. Where the Claudian colonnade extends its outspread shade, the palace ended in its furthest part. Now Rome is restored to itself, and under your rule, Caesar, what had been the delight of a tyrant is now the delight of the people. Beautiful. That was written, of course, as a poem. What nation is far distant? What people so barbarous? Caesar, the spectator, has not come from one of them to your city. A farm of Rhodope has come from Orphic Emus. A Sarmatian fed on draughts of horses' blood has come, and he who drinks at its source the stream of first found Nile, and he whose shore the wave of furthest Tethys beats. The Arab has hurried here, Sabaean have buried, and Cilicians have been drenched in their own saffron dew. With hair twined in a knot, Sgambrians have come, and Ethiopians with their locks twined in other ways. The languages of the peoples are varied, yet they are all one when you are acclaimed your country's true father. So the Caesar in the Colosseum, he represented all of the world of the Roman Empire. Very good, very good. And so this one here, this last poem of, what's his name, of Martial, born in Martial, Martial, he talks about, people, I think he mentions the Vikings, no, not the Vikings, the Rus, and the people also from the Mongols, from the Far East, and also from the Middle East, going into India, and also in Africa. It covers the whole lot. There's a lot of knowledge here, underneath it all. Okay? 11:26, just perfect. Now, the last song. You love this one here. Lisa dagli occhi blu. Who doesn't remember someone from school? I remember at least a couple of them from Moliterno. They were beautiful people from school. Lisa dagli occhi blu. This was sung by Mario Tessuto. Look it up. He's a wonderful singer. Here we go. Lisa dagli occhi blu, senza le trecce la stessa non sei più. Piove silenzio tra noi, vorrei parlarti ma te ne vai. Now, I'm going to show you the words. Here we go. Okay, I think I can manage. I haven't taken it out of the plastic. Oh, well, never mind. I think I'll do it anyway. Okay. Yes, here we go. Lisa dagli occhi blu, senza le trecce la stessa non sei più. Piove silenzio tra noi, vorrei parlarti ma te ne vai. Eppure quasi fino a ieri mi chiamavi amore tu, ma nei tuoi pensieri oggi non ci sono più. Classe seconda B, il nostro amore è cominciato lì. Lisa dagli occhi blu, senza le trecce non sei più tu. La primavera è finita, ma forse la vita comincia così. Amore fatto di vento, il primo rimpianto sei stata tu. lisa dagli occhi blu, senza le trecce la stessa non sei più. Cerco negli occhi tuoi la tenerezza che più non hai. Eppure quasi fino a ieri mi chiamavi amore tu, ma nei tuoi pensieri oggi non ci sono più. Classe seconda B, chi avrebbe detto che poi finiva qui? Piove silenzio tra noi, vorrei parlarti ma te ne vai. La primavera è finita, ma forse la vita comincia così. Amore fatto di vento, il primo rimpianto sei stata tu. La primavera è finita, ma forse la vita comincia così. Amore fatto di vento, il primo rimpianto sei stata tu. That's a beautiful song, Lisa dagli occhi blu. It takes a while to get to it. Now, the hour is gone. I've enjoyed this today because, as you develop anything, time is of the essence. The things change, and your journey continues along certain lines with the twists and turns. That's how it is. And on that note, on this very beautiful day, Melbourne Cup Day 2022, I, Tom Padula, from TomPadulaTV on YouTube, and Insegna Booksellers, and also Insegna.com in the blog section. Also, well, I mentioned YouTube, but also tompadula.blogspot.com. You got the presentations. So there's a lot of this work here goes online and for everyone to enjoy. I'm the volunteer. Okay? Ciao. Have a great day. Put in a bet and win. And if you don't, just be happy for being part of it. Tom Padula from TomPadulaTV on YouTube and Insegna Booksellers. Ciao.